Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Cliff Alerts. Today we're going to be talking about OWN Network's reality-based TV series, Put a Ring on It, Season 3, Episode number 4.
And we are off to the races with a spicy Shay and Alfonzo.
Spicy, it was salt. It was salty, and it was a whole bunch of other ingredients at that Japanese restaurant that they had their simultaneous date on. But we'll get into it, won't we?
I mean, hot grill, knives,
Big fires,
plates.
all kinds of utensils up in that piece.
Well.
But anyway, before we do that, before we get into that,
Before we get into this, we would like to ask you if you could subscribe, like, comment, and share our channel. We appreciate you for helping us and staying with us as we grow.
For sure.
So thank you.
For sure. Having said that, let's get into it, y'all. This episode began with Dr. Nicole talking to Shay and Alfonzo, who she had met,
individual counseling.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
She was talking to them about the infidelity component as it relates to their relationship as raised by Shay.
Basically, Alfonso is going to do what he does, and that he thinks she's a ghost because he has conversations with women, one in particular,
In public, where he doesn't acknowledge her presence.
Doesn't acknowledge her presence. And she talked about encountering a woman who walked up to him and asked him for money, and he gave it to her, and she walked away.
Right.
So she feels like she's constantly disrespected, and that Alfonso doesn't take her seriously.
Right.
And they were both laughing at
and
this
that's where I was
point.
going.
Dr. Nicole said, "Hey, this is not funny," because their laughter surprised me a little bit. That tells me they're both numb to what exactly is going on.
It was like they used laughter as a masking agent for the pain that they're experiencing on both sides.
Right. And Dr. Nicole told Alfonso that you may laugh now, but your laughter is causing her pain. Is it worth it?
Right.
Is it worth being
not trusted?
Not trusted.
Right. Is it worth it so much to the point where you show some kind of care and or concern for how she's processing all this?
Right.
Does that matter to you?
Does it matter to him?
Right.
And
because she's clear. She's been pretty clear about that, right?
Right. And as I said in the last review, I feel like she's just an open wound. She's going to have a rough time going forward in this process, because she clearly thinks the counseling is just for Alfonso. But she is not willing to open herself to that, based on her statement that she's not going to make it easy for Alfonso in this process or any of his dates.
Well, she doesn't trust him, and apparently with good reason, according to her. And it gets back to something that Dr. Nicole said, that she reminded both of them about, and that was this. A relationship that's not built on trust is built on quicksand.
Right.
And it'll wash away with the quickness.
Absolutely.
So until they can get to a point where he has an avenue to gain her trust, and she is in a position to receive that, they're not headed on the right path together down the road.
And a date was set up where they both are at one location, and Dr. Nicole told them that the reason that's why they're doing this exercise, because that's what it was, is to gauge the level of their trust with each other, so that they can be assured when who they are, focus on their date, we'll see where you are in this process.
Right. And the simultaneous dates was an effort to turn things up to see what's really there, what's in the way of a foundation,
right,
and address whatever issues that are causing that sand to erode away from the base.
Right. And we then see Shay getting ready, and she's already projecting what the date is going to be, because she said at one point that this is her worst nightmare coming to fruition. You know, she was crying.
Right.
And my thought was, where are the counselors or the professionals in this show? The woman is already in distress even before she met her date and goes to the restaurant. What is going to happen when she's actually there? Is this the right exercise for this couple at this point in time?
Right.
Or do they need a little more counseling to be able to do that, take that approach of
Right.
being assured in themselves and focusing on their date?
Right, and also in her confessional, Shay also admits that, you know, in her mind, no woman wants to see a man consensually go out with another woman other than herself, and how she's not okay with that in
Yeah.
either case.
But I see Shay, although she's broken and hurt, Shay is not open or not willing to get help at this point, because she is stuck in her ways about, you know, what a woman would do rather than what she will do within a counseling process. Because she should be trying to be more focused on getting healthy for herself. And the reason that they're doing this is for her to take her eyes off Alfonso and concentrate on herself. So everything about her is Alfonso.
Right.
And as a result of that, we had this volcanic uprising.
I think that part of her issue is that she feels like, or has gotten used to, trying to control Alfonso.
But is she really controlling him?
No, not at all.
Seriously?
Not at all. Not
Do
at
you
all.
think this is her first rodeo?
No.
Her scrapping it up with another woman is the first time she has ever done that.
No, based on what she has revealed in the little bit of time that we've been watching, I wouldn't think that was her first time at the rodeo either.
I feel like she has scrapped it up with the mother of Alfonso's children. That's why his mother does not want to have anything to do with her.
That may be right on point. I don't
The
know.
man left her outside his mother's house. So he already knows what is in his mother's heart.
Right.
And when she went in, she didn't get any satisfaction because that's still stuck in her craw.
Right. She hadn't moved beyond that yet. Yeah.
Because if she is hurt and broken, anything that Alfonso is focused on, whether it be the mother of his children, whether it be his children, whether it be his mother, she is going to have a problem.
Yeah.
And she may be so toxic that she may not necessarily want Alfonso to be dealing with his children's mother, because that's how some women roll. They want the man to themselves, and they're quite willing to plant that seed so men could, be cut off from their children's mother and the children themselves.
Well, we definitely see how she rolls, and she meaning Shay, but we also have a glimpse in terms of how Fonzo rolls too. Because he said in his confessionals that as they were preparing for the date, it kind of got to him a little bit to see Shay cry, but he ain't doing a damn thing to change his actions so that doesn't provoke that kind of response from her, that and elicit that kind of pain that comes out of her in that way. He's not necessarily doing what he needs to do from my vantage point to change that. Right. So fast forward to the date with Shay and her new date, Asar.
Yeah.
Asar.
He seemed like a pleasant brother.
Right.
He was into her. He told her that she's his type. They were flirting with each other
Right.
at one point.
Right.
And he kept telling her and reassuring her, because she probably discussed that with the date with him and the circumstances
Right.
on the way to the restaurant.
Right.
And he kept reassuring her that just focus on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm into you. Just focus on me.
Right, and there was a degree of compassion coming from a complete stranger, and that was reason. Yeah, that was more reasonable. It was a good move on his part.
But then, da 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 da.
Right. Fonzo rolls in with his date, Tay Cherie. I think she had an expectation based on maybe a previous conversation that she had with Alfonso, or is that wrong?
I have no idea where her expectation was, but she had an aggressive posture immediately.
Right, but what? But
and I'm wondering,
to a complete stranger,
where did that come from? She doesn't know Shay, or is this
which is why I said they may have
side money.
Maybe Fonzo had a conversation with her to prep her with the intention of prepping her about how his girlfriend might react in this scenario when they walked in. Maybe I don't know, but
wow, I just thought she didn't try to, because this is an awkward situation to begin with.
Exactly.
So I'm thinking that the dates are feeling awkward and feeling that tension as well.
Right.
There was smoke started coming, and then there was a full-blown big fire, like the chef asked them if they wanted big fire. No, that's not big fire. What they were involved in was a massive fire.
I agree with that part, but I'm going to disagree with you just slightly in this regard. I think Tay Cherie came in confident, but I think she came in, within margins, respectful of not only who she dealing with in the way of Alfonso, but also the circumstances under which she was going out with somebody else's man.
No, I didn't get that from that sister. She said, "I'm grown."
Yeah,
we could tell you grown.
But her initial responses or reactions to Shay were pleasant and cordial as far as they were short and brief. But she was trying to focus on her meeting with Alfonso.
But what I'm saying is, Tay Cherie brought a little extra.
Well, she was confident, and I think that's okay.
She did not mind going where she was.
Right,
immediate.
But she see, that's where I disagree. I don't think she didn't mind at a certain point, but prior to that point, she didn't go. She was cordial and respectful, I think, at least to some degree, and didn't look to engage. But Shay came in ready to rock and roll.
But I got a question though. Why is a woman with a trigger temper like Tay Cherie, the producers decided to mix up with Shay, who is already one explosion after the other? There's some women who are appalled with this kind of behavior because this is not what we do. We know how to use our words.
Yeah, but Shay came loaded for bear, ready to engage from the very beginning because of what she had said prior to.
But what if they brought in a date that did not have the temperament of Tay Cherie, who would sit back and just relax and what have you? Shay would not have had any heat. At all.
I don't know about that, and the reason why was because of what Shay said before to Dr. Nicole and in her confessional about not making the process easy for not any woman or Fonzo himself.
I'm just saying there are a lot of women who would have seen how explosive Shay was, would have gotten up, excused themselves, and would have gone home.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
They wouldn't have any part of this nonsense.
But Shay kept going, and she actually told Alfonso to mute.
Mute his date, who he just met.
Right, who he just met. Not that he would be able to do it, but why did she feel like
he can't even mute her, and they've been together for over 3 years.
Exactly. So
she has an expectation that he is gonna mute this woman that he probably
that he just met.
Yeah,
which is insanity as far as I'm concerned. Where is that coming from?
I thought Alfonso was laughing, and he was laughing, but it wasn't like a genuine laugh. He looked like he was nervous. He looked like he was
like he didn't know what to do with the situation.
He looked like he did not know what to do.
Yeah, but you know what was interesting about that? Asar certainly did. He got up immediately once Shay rose up and put his
body in front of her
and held her back.
And held her back like, wait a minute, and he's trying to calm her down.
Meanwhile, Fonzo's got this grin on his face like, okay, yeah, I'm hearing all of this, transpire between the two of them. I may not know how to react, so I'll just put a smile on my face.
And what I find troubling is Shay is ready to roll, or she has been rolling. She's ready now to move. And Alfonzo gets up and tells her, come on, come on. And he walks out.
It's almost like he abdicated his responsibility in that instance to a stranger because they were on simultaneous dates.
This man does not care for this woman. This man uses this woman for his entertainment purposes only. And she does not recognize it. If this is love, okay, I know these kinds of relationship exist, but it's not healthy. It's toxic.
Yeah. And when he walked out, that made it possible for Shay to scoot past Asar and get ready to rumble with her. Y'all, Tasha Reed was gonna hook Shay up with a take-home plate for real from Detroit, not from that Japanese restaurant that they attended. For real, a take-home plate.
It was like, oh my God! And the only time the producers intervene is when Shay Cherie pulls that plate out and is ready to roll with it. Then you see a hand,
a white hand,
stretching out to grab the plate.
Woo!
Why didn't the producer shut this down to begin with? You know why? They want to show black women out there acting up. They could have stopped this. The whole guise of put a ring on it is one of getting healthy through counseling. And here we are, Shay, an open vessel, oozing, and then she's volcanic and she's unreasonable and uncontrollable. And there they are allowing this situation to just escalate. The moment she got up, okay, we got to stop filming. The ring on it is using a very sick woman to
for ratings or something?
For ratings,
maybe.
For the fight.
Right.
For her to be further scarred. Why is it necessary for us to see this explosion when this whole show is about getting to a clearer place within yourself to ask someone to walk the road of marriage with,
or separate because they've decided that there are too many issues, that unresolved issues that cannot be resolved.
What set Shay off is how she felt disrespected when Alfonzo came in and walked past her and did not acknowledge her, because her biggest thing is he does not acknowledge her. He ghosts her.
Right.
She's right next to him and he ignores her completely. Mm-hmm. And that's what he did. When he sat down, he looked, she said something to him and he said, hey. Mm-hmm. But when he came in initially with his date, he said nothing to her. And that is what set her off. Mm-hmm. No one can reach Shay right now. She needs heavy counseling. She got to turn to that ugly, be aware of it, recognize it, and want to change that within herself. And she's not going to do that in a relationship with Alfonso, in any relationship. Because if she goes to another man, Shay's going to have the same problem.
It might manifest itself differently, but I agree.
What about showing black women being calm enough, smart enough, wise enough to say, okay, this is not for me. I don't feel comfortable in this environment. I'm gonna leave. How about that kind of TV? It'd be weird from what you're accustomed to, but it shows a strong black woman doing what she needs to do to keep herself safe. How about that?
Instead of sisters showing their hands to each other over some bullshit.
Honey, you made all your jokes, you know what I'm saying, about women throwing hands and what have you.
Yeah, I do that, because, that's what sometimes brothers do, including myself. But at the same time, and when you get serious right down to it, you don't want to see sisters throw their hands like that.
If I acted like that, oh my God.
No, and hell to the never.
Does any man out there worth his salt want his woman to act like that?
And see, you characterize it. You characterize it accurately, as far as I'm concerned. Worth his salt. Want to see this? The answer should be no. I'm not going to speak for all men when I say this, but it should be no. You don't want to see anybody act up like that. You want to diffuse the situation when sisters get to swinging on each other. No, you don't want to see that.
de-escalation.
Right, exactly. And like I said, the only one who really was sincere and genuine in his effort to do so was Asar.
A stranger in the house.
Right, exactly. So,
anywho, we'd like to thank you for listening to us. I know we went a bit long. We'd like to thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and our blessing to you today is enjoy your life. Enjoy every piece of it. Bye-bye.
bye.